You did it.
That was it.
You have begun. Well, guys, welcome back to Every Day's a Bonus. I'm Brent MOXEY, joined by, of course, Kennkington over here. He doesn't know what to do with his hands. And then there is Logan over here. Logan, also fairly awkward in the hand department if you're watching this. Well, we know that a lot of people are listening, and so that's a great way to hear us as well. Using your listening ears, using your earlobes that you don't touch often. If you didn't hear our last episode, go check that out, because I bet it's been a while since you've touched your earlobes.
I'm sorry, Mallory. I'm sorry.
He started it. Logan started it. But hey, glad you guys are joining us again. This is a show where we just chat for a few minutes about why everyday experiences we've learned can be valuable, why we recognize that every day truly is a bonus. We have to recognize that, not just take it for granted. And
how to make it a bonus.
How to make it a bonus. How to go, not just past tense, but how can we take what we're learning and go into the future? Give you a takeaway, if you will. And so today, I don't even know what our takeaway is going to be. And that's the best part. We just kind of riff and chat for a little bit and see where it might be a shirt that somebody's wearing. I mean, if I'm correct, Logan, that's a Lululemon shirt over there. Is that right?
The way you're looking at me, I can tell you want to rub it.
I want to, but you're so far from me.
It's pretty great.
Can you rub him and just tell me what it's like?
Yeah.
How's that? Rub me the same way on my arm. Does it feel like that?
Just a little more coarse and prickly.
That's how you make every day a bonus, right there.
Rub the guy beside you's shoulder. Is that what it is?
Yes.
I remember my first introduction to the world of Lululemon. My daughter was a dancer.
I thought you were going to say your introduction to rubbing guys' shoulders.
That's a whole nother episode, Logan. A whole nother episode. But Lululemon, I was like, who could pay this amount of money for shorts? And then all of a sudden, my daughter had multiple pairs, and my wife had pairs.
Pay that amount of money for
I
shorts.
Paid for it, right? Yeah. But then we were down at Disney Springs. Now, downtown Disney is now Disney Springs, right? And there's a Lululemon store there, and my wife's like, I'm going to buy you a pair of shorts. And she bought me my first pair there, and it was the coolest thing.
Let the addiction begin.
Yeah, there's a little secret pocket in there where your phone will sit and stay, and you don't have to look at it, right? You can just keep it in your pocket all the time. But it's a great little spot. And then shirts came into the mix, and then sweatshirts, and then pants, and it's like, oh boy. Is there ever too much Lulu? There is, because then you'll run out of money, right?
I didn't know what it was called till recently. I thought it was Lululemon.
Lululemon. Well, that's a good one too.
That's better.
Ken, do you have any Lululemon or a brand that you like a lot?
I do like Belts. These friend of mine turned me on to BYLT Belts.
Okay. I've been seeing their ads lately.
That's all I travel in now. They're just so stinking
Built
comfortable.
Ford tough.
But I gotta ask, what is your favorite article of Lululemon?
I just wanted to touch the pants and see.
They're more comfortable to wear than be
that was awkward.
Touched.
Please don't look at this.
We used to have a wall between Brent and I.
That's right. Our knees would touch under the table. If you haven't seen the first 5 episodes, it was a little bit awkward sometimes. But
yes, it'd be in the middle of the episode. It's like, oh, okay.
Now look how far we are apart. Did you do this? Did you plan the seating of this? Because look how far we are apart from each other.
Favorite Lululemon article of clothing?
Mallory's shorts from Lulu.
What?
Not on me, but on her.
Wearing Mallory's shorts.
Because I like looking at her in them.
Oh, that's a great way to reflect back on that. That's
recovery.
really good. That's good.
Yes, yeah.
That's good.
It sounded better in my head.
Mine are Kirsten's wearing her leggings. She works out in the leggings.
Much better worded.
Is
well
that
done.
better than I like to wear my wife's clothing that you almost said?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, the leggings.
Read
very,
between
very
the
nice.
lines.
For a couple moments, I had a picture of Logan in a pair of yoga pants, and it was not a good sign.
Or just Logan doing yoga in general. That would be neat.
Not a good sign.
His go-ruck sack on his back. That's right. You just go-ruck. I just bought my first go-ruck.
You got a go-ruck?
I got a backpack, and so when I've taken Captain Pickles, our dog, and when I walk him around the block,
Captain Pickles.
Unless you're watching a Dirt Bike Ninja special on our YouTube channel, right? Shameless plug. He is Mr. Pickles when Dirt Bike Ninja is fighting crime and telling people about Jesus. But in reality, behind the scenes, he's Captain Pickles. That's his real name. Captain Pickles, Danger, No, MOXEY. So that's all his names. But we told him no a lot when he was a puppy, so we decided just to throw it in there.
There's a cat in our neighborhood whose name is Get Out.
Really? That's a brilliant idea.
Yes,
Get out.
And it's a guy that was in the military, so they were doing a lot of moving, and one of their stops, this cat kept showing up to their house, and he kept saying, "Get out! I don't want this. Get out!"
He's talking to me.
And the whole family was like, "But we love this cat. She keeps coming back. We have to keep her." And so they named her Get Out.
Get Out. Named
She's
after the movie Get Out. Scary, crazy movie. Ooh. Good movie, but whoa, a little bit crazy. But anyway, Captain Pickles, Danger No Moxie, because I wanted one of our kids' middle names to be Danger, so it could be like, my middle name is Danger. My middle name is Danger. We gave it to our dog instead, and he can't even talk. He doesn't even have thumbs. But anyway, he's walking through.
What do thumbs have to do with talking?
I don't know. He doesn't have a voice and thumbs. He can bark, but he can't talk. He can bark in his own language.
It's a good observation, though. No animal or mammal without thumbs can speak.
That's a good point. What about a monkey?
They can't talk.
But they have thumbs.
But they have thumbs. It goes against your theory, Ken.
God, there's an exception for everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that reminds me, because whenever Captain Pickles and I will go for a walk, it's always better when Kirsten comes with us, right? So I love it. We will do golf walks in the neighborhood or just down the street. And it's always more fun when your wife's with you. And so it always reminds me that when we're walking together, it's like the phones stay away. And it's like, if I'm by myself, I might be praying or something, or like, Pickles, why are you doing that? But like when Kirsten's there, some of the best conversations, some of the best time together is not necessarily Disney World. We love that. Vacations. But same goes for our kids as well. Sometimes the most meaningful times is us just being together. But our church puts a big emphasis on doing groups, like small groups, that type of thing. And so the idea is life is just better when you do it together, because you learn from people. I mean, much like our viewers or our listeners right now, maybe we're just like a little blip on the radar in 15, 20 minutes in their car or something like that, but you feel like you're part of something, right? And so I would encourage everybody out there to do things together, because that's how we're built, I would say, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would even say with the podcast, I thought for years, how do I do this? I want to do a podcast and I want to do it on what we're doing, but I thought I just can't do it on my own. And so I met you and then we got to talk, and I'm like, this is so beyond whatever I thought. And I learned that kind of concept. The t-shirt I got today is the Atlanta Half Marathon from probably before Logan was born.
Wow.
1995? Isn't that crazy? The year we got married.
That's the year I graduated high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Braves won the World Series that year.
It was a big year.
The 98 Braves. Didn't they do something good in 98? Is that a song?
They lost to the Yankees.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, that one.
Yeah.
But the whole running thing, I love sports. I do not like to just run. Because when I run, it's like my body talks to me. I get about a mile and my body's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I got to get in shape. And a mile and a half, my body's like, we don't like running. And things start hurting. And then at 2 miles, my body's like, you stop running or we will hurt you. That's right. And sure enough, I get a cramp and a stitch. But then I started dating Heather. And we would work out together, and we've been dating for a few months. And one day I go over after she gets out of school and she's like, hey, do you want to work out? I'm like, yeah. And so she goes and changes. She goes, hey, I said, what do you want to do today? And I had not told her about my resistance toward running. She goes, hey, I thought we'd go for a run. And on the inside, I'm like, oh, crap. And on the outside, I'm like, yeah
let's do it.
You said the C word.
Run?
Crap.
Oh,
crap.
C-run.
Run doesn't start with a C. Maybe in your world. Maybe hooked on phonics didn't work for you.
or what was the other word?
Phonetically from last week. Yeah.
So frenetically, we start this jog, and I'm just thinking, oh man. And I said, how far do you want to go? And she goes, oh, I'm doing a short day. I'm like, oh, good. She goes, I'm only doing 5. And I'm like,
minutes?
Blocks, minutes, kilometers, anything. She goes, no, it's this loop. I'm like, no, that's great. But nobody told my body. And so we get to a mile, and I'm starting to feel the angst, and a mile and a half, and my body's like, we don't like running. I'm like, shut up, I'm with a girl. And 2 miles, sure enough, I get a cramp and a stitch, and I'm trying to run through it. I look like an idiot.
Oh, you're limping along.
I'm just trying to fight through the stitch, and she goes, are you okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is normal, and
this is how I run, like Phoebe from Friends. Woo! Yeah.
Exactly. And so not only did I finish the 5 miles, I literally, the last half mile, I said, hey, do you mind if I sprint this last little bit? I was not trying
to get it over with as quickly as possible. That's
I wanted to get around the corner and die for a minute before she got there. And as I unpacked that going home, here's kind of the moment that I realized, you know what, when we're with the right people doing the right thing for the right reasons, we will go further and we will do it better than we'll ever do it on our own.
That's right.
And I learned that, and I am going to give this one away after, what is that, 39, 50,
You've been wearing that for
years.
a lot of years. Wow.
But I give away the T-shirts and all
even
that.
Even the ones with odors.
Yeah, are there pit stains?
Yeah, what's that yellow under the arm? Yeah, it's a hint.
That's where you need to sign it. Right?
It's called vintage.
Ooh, hypercolor.
Vintage. Yeah, but I'm gonna do that. But and then Heather's like, oh my gosh, we need to run a half marathon. And this was my glory moment, because she's training with this friend, and then Thanksgiving Day comes, we run the Atlanta Half Marathon, the year of the Olympics. So we ran the actual Olympic course, and we watched the Olympics that year. And I can honestly say I can run a half marathon faster than the fastest Olympian can run a full marathon.
Wow.
By 2 minutes.
Well, that's something to be said. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
That's 13 miles opposed to 26 miles. Is that right?
Yeah. I watched the Olympics.
Amazing.
I think it was a minute 38. I mean, literally, if I started my half marathon, this dude's basically catching up with
you quickly. Within the first few miles, he's surpassed you.
No. I'm saying he could run a half marathon and catch up to me before the finish line almost.
That is amazing.
So anyway, but and after that,
math was very confusing for me. I get the
phonics,
visual,
math,
circle of life.
His was half.
Circle.
Half
Lion
and
King,
a full.
Disney marathon. My wife ran the Disney marathon.
But my moment of grandeur was my wife at the end of this marathon. She's like, I am never running again. Because it takes so much out of you. Even though she trained for it, it's 13.1. She's like, I hate running. Mm-hmm. And so we found other sports, and my life was better. And I got the lesson of it's better, and we do better with somebody else.
Together. So, that's good. That's good.
So, but I love what when you're with the right people,
doing the
right things
for the right reasons.
For the right reasons. You're going to go further than you ever could on your own. And it may not be perfect.
Oh, no.
It's going to be messy. It's still going to be hard, but long-term payoff, that's so much better. It's like that old adage. Do y'all know the term adage? Is this with frenetic? I don't know.
Addition,
that's
subtraction.
That's an old word.
I know
that word.
Remember, it's math again. And I'm very confused with that.
Yes, but show me your 5 best friends and I'll show you your future. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Is going to play a huge role in
That's a good point.
Where you're going in life.
Wow.
Good point. So it's not just about marathoning, because I've never run a marathon. I trained with Kirsten when she was training to go do the Disney marathon.
Oh, I heard that was a great
one. So really, really good. But I mean, she would tell you the same thing. By the time she went with a group of girls, encouraging each other, prayed for each other before they went. And even though it was tough and difficult, and even though she said she might never, ever do it again, she loved it. She was with the right people, though, because they spurred each other on. What was interesting in the training for that is she never had actually run 26 miles at one point ever.
Right.
And they encourage you. They will tell you, you're starting with the 3 miles and the 5 miles and the 12 miles.
Yeah, once a week, run a long day.
Work your way up, and then you kind of go back down, and then you never run the full amount. And I guess I'm sure all you official trainers out there, maybe there's something about this, but
you're going to get shredded
I know,
in the
I'm
comments.
about to get killed. Like, are you kidding me? Never run 26 miles?
Nothing.
Yeah, this guy's an idiot. But she had never run it. And so then when you get out there on the course, that's when like the adrenaline's kicking in and
you get the rhythm.
People around the rhythm and figuring it all out. And then she did do the full 26 miles. I did a half marathon.
That's what this was. It was a half.
Yeah, and it was, my joints were so, I did not train. I just went out there and ran it. But my knees.
Pull the Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah. It was so, I get why the body, it does yell back at you.
You definitely get it.
But it's funny, the things you will do with the right people. I mean, you will go above and beyond for the people you love, the people you're around. I mean, we know how much we defend our families. We personally know how much how valuable family time is, because it's fleeting. I mean, when they tell you that the days are long, kids are young, right? But the years are short. I mean, that is.
Don't tell me that.
I know. I'm so sorry, but it is. But
dude, take heed.
Yeah, but it really makes you look back and realize because the time is flying by. Enjoy every moment. I get that. But like, you really do want to just embrace everything. Again, like last episode, put the phone down and just enjoy where you're at, because
be where you are.
This time is fleeting, but you're around the right people. They spur you on. They teach you things you didn't know. I mean, what is that like? Most CEOs want to be in a room full of people that know more than them, because they're going to learn a lot in there anyway. Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so it's just such a valuable piece to be surrounded. I mean, if I was sitting here talking, like you said, on a microphone by myself, or you by yourself, there is value to that, but
Sure.
there is not. The way that God designed us to be like a cord with many, many strands is just so much more valuable.
Well, iron
just by
sharpens
itself.
iron.
Iron sharpening iron. So many, Jesus wept.
He was
There's so
running
many
a marathon.
things. Yeah, I don't know. He was sad that his friend died, Lazarus, right? Community. But anyway, right? That was why he wept.
And to totally shift that,
I connected
to weave.
I've talked to a lot of guys who played professional sports and all, and they said the hardest part was not diminishing talents and the physical wear and tear, especially with the NFL guys. They're like, man, you just get obliterated all the time. They said, but when we walk away, you don't miss the physical pain, the practicing. He says, you miss the locker room. Mm-hmm. You miss the traveling with guys from different backgrounds, different everything, but you have the same goal with the same guys. It's just that camaraderie.
I talk to a lot of guys that watch professional sports and different than your guys that play it. But there's just something about when Super Bowl rolls around, right? You can sit and watch it by yourself. Oh, yeah. Man, how much more energy and fun when you're surrounded by friends, family, whatever it is of people, because you're spurring each other on, and it's enjoyable. Our son is just finishing up. He finished his senior year of playing varsity lacrosse, and at times, the coach is yelling, and there's those sprints, and there's everyone's tough, but you don't look back on it and be like, I wish I would have never done that. You look back and you're like, man, those guys,
we made the Final Four,
pushed
right?
each other. Yeah, we pushed each other.
Look what we did.
Oh, what a cool thing, though, just to be like, you surround yourself with people that are, I love that, like-minded.
Yep.
Because, or you want to be like-minded.
Yes.
Because you will start adapting to the people that you're around, your surroundings.
And it works the opposite way too.
Sure.
When you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't making good choices and aren't going in a good direction,
really quick.
Good point.
You start spiraling with them and stooping to their level.
As a parent, when we say, hey kids, careful of who you hang out with, there is wisdom in that. It's not just like, we want you to only make good choices. It's because you'll start acting like the people that you're around.
Yeah.
And so what is that example? Like, it's much easier to pull somebody down than to pull somebody up.
Oh,
right?
like have someone standing on a chair.
Somebody standing on a chair, and if you yank them, it's so much easier to pull them off the chair than for the person up on the chair
bring you up.
Bring you up. And so, I mean, what a great visual on that. Like the people you surround yourself with, you want them to be encouraging you, and you want to be an encourager, right? If you're around people that are pulling you down, there's a good chance you're going to start pulling others down or feeling bad about yourself. So surround yourself with people that are that follow Jesus, that love God, that put family first. You're going to start doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
But likewise, sometimes there'll be people in your group that aren't where the rest of the group is, and your prayer is that they would be lifted up. Not that you're better than them at all, but you just start being like the people you're around.
Well, just being around different people, different ages. I thrive in this, and it takes the pressure off of trying to carry or whatever. And what did you say about the 5 people? Show me your 5.
Show me your 5 best friends, and I'll show you your future.
Okay. Well, let me just kind of get into the application side of that. Who are the people we hang around? I mean, that could be one of them. Just take an evaluation. Who are the people I'm with the most?
Yeah.
And how can I be a benefit to them or them me? Think about the people you're around and that you surround yourself with.
It's a good takeaway. What Logan, for you, what's your kind of piece that you would walk away and be like, how could I challenge somebody out there with what we've talked about today?
Absolutely. I think it's who you're surrounding yourself with. And I think I'd add to that too, kind of piggybacking off last week's episode with just our phones and all of that and how much attention that gets. What are you consuming? The people you're with are forming you, and what you're taking in, what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're listening to, all of those inputs are forming you.
Yeah.
And what kind of person are you being formed into?
Yeah.
When I've got a wife who adores Jesus, is all about family, is an amazing mom, and just her energy spurs me on to do my best in those areas. Being around y'all brings out my humor and just having fun and all the crazy things we talk about on camera and even more so off camera. and then also just doing an occasional audit. Like, what am I consuming? You know, for me, if I go down the political rabbit hole and I'm just consuming a ton of political content, I'm not the most joyful person to be around. I'm more anxious. I'm more fearful. I start to get angry. And then that spills out onto the people that I'm around. And so all of those inputs, just stepping back and who am I allowing to speak into my life? What am I allowing to speak into my life?
Great.
Who am I giving my time to? Am I being filled or am I being drained?
Oh,
and
good
then
word.
When I'm spending a lot of time with you guys, with these two behind camera, with my wife, with my small group, man, I'm so full that when I'm around others that maybe need to be pulled up, I've got so much that I'm ready to pour. To help pour into them and love on them and meet them where they are, rather than showing up to that environment and I'm running on empty. And I got nothing to give you.
So maybe everybody watching out there.
There was a lot of takeaways.
There's a lot of takeaways.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of
one.
the person out there listening or watching right now. Maybe it's, I'm a big baby step person, right? Instead of saying I'm going to do a marathon, I got to first do a half, right? Before a half, I got to at least do a 5 minute.
5 minutes.
Before I get to there, my wife was real big on how are you going to run a marathon, and she would call it one mailbox at a time. Because when she was training, she would just need to make it to that mailbox. But what do you do when you're there? Well, now you just need to make it to the next that mailbox. And my wife is so good at her wisdom is just so wise in that. But that applies then even just to life. Like somebody out there is like, man, I do need to just turn my job off a little bit more. And so what's a takeaway for today? Maybe it's take a walk with your significant other. Maybe it's do something with your family, make family a priority. Maybe your family is connecting well and you're like, I need to jump on with a group, get involved in a local church that's near you. Or as guys, sometimes we're not sure about the group thing, but man, when you do get involved, you hear from other guys and the iron sharpening iron you just said. So take that step, whatever that baby step is that leads to the next thing. Start something today, at work, decide tonight I'm going to do it. My wife and I are going to turn the TV off and we're going to go for a walk and just talk about the day. Or I'm going to make sure when the kids get home, it's me focused on just them, community.
But phone is to the side. Fully present for 2 hours.
Yeah. And maybe instead of going into church, checking the box and then leaving, maybe it's like, this is the time we're going to find some people that are in the same walk of life we're in.
That's it.
With kids our age. And I want to learn what they're doing. Maybe I can teach somebody. Maybe I can learn from somebody. But the idea is doing it together. So.
And I want to add, before you pile onto that, I'm going to pile a little under what you're going to pile.
Piles. There's a lot of piles.
I would add to what you're saying.
Of these,
can I get to the next mailbox? Don't start where you want to be. Start where you are. What's the step that I can take toward? If the marathon's the goal, you can't go run a marathon. You can't change every habit of your life overnight. That will overwhelm you.
That's right.
But what's the one step that I can take to start moving me towards where I want to be? Being real with where I am.
I like that.
Oh, big time. Big.
Kenn, pile onto that.
Well, and just as a final thought is, what do I enjoy?
Yeah.
And when did we give up recess? Because
middle school
and
messed everything up. I just stay in elementary.
I got to give props to my wife. She's like, okay. And we were literally driving back from an event. She goes, who are people that we would just like to have dinner with? That we look at and go, they seem to have it all together. Maybe they're the same stage of life or whatever. And let's just call them and do dinner. And we did dinner. And man, that synergy is huge.
Absolutely.
So it is something, what do I have to give? What do I have to get? But I love the idea of we need to be around like-minded people that are kind of feeding into us, because there's enough of life that drains us. And I want to leave this great quote. The first gentleman who mentored me said, you know what? You need to be in those relationships. You need to be in that community, because if your output exceeds your intake, your upkeep will be your downfall. Wow. And if all we're doing is pouring out.
Put that on the screen here, because I need to look at that.
If your output exceeds your intake, which is that time with others and sharpening, then your upkeep will be your downfall.
That's good.
I got to tell you guys, just being with you guys is, I don't come here thinking, okay, it's podcast day.
Yeah.
I think, I don't care what we do.
Yeah.
I just like being around those guys.
I want to hug each of you right now, but I can't. The microphone's in the way. Thank you, Logan. If you're watching, Logan moved his microphone away, ready for an embrace. We'll do that off camera.
And I want to ball everybody together because another great week. But I want to give a shout out to Colin, who's doing an incredible job with social media.
Absolutely.
Skylar, who's producing. And I enjoy hanging out with them as much as I enjoy hanging out with you guys.
And not everybody, just so you has it all together. You said you find somebody. So we all have our flaws. We're all trying to grow. So never look at somebody and say they've got it all together because everyone's working on something. So don't feel like you have to have it perfect. Just one step, one little baby step, one mailbox at a time. But glad you guys are with us, man. We're not promised tomorrow, but when we get to have today, it is definitely a bonus. So as we would all say, thanks for joining us because every day is a bonus. See you guys next time.
We're so good at that now.
Oh, it's almost second nature.
It's connected.